Well, I'm not going to claim that I'm a advice columnist, but I'm going to tell you this one thing. If you ever want to make good spaghetti sauce, make it the night before. That's why I'm doing this tonight, so I can have a really good dinner tomorrow. First things first, get some of these ends off the garlic cloves, which I don't like. I've got celery, which I'm going to try to chop into the smallest pieces I can. I mean, if you cut each stalk into 4 ribs and then chop this, perfect. And a lot of people are going to just put this stuff in a processor, which is fine as well, but I like chopping. Half an onion. So normally I would leave the bottom end off where it has the plate, where the little hairs come out, looks like little like roots. Leave that on, and then if you chop across this way and then chop this way, you end up with a really nice dice. But it's fine, I'll manage. And because the onion is a bulb and it has that structure, when you chop across and across the other way, you end up with just cubes. Good. You get your garlic bulb, right? You pull a clove off, right? It's like this with the skin on. If you just mush with the side of your knife, hold on. What happens is this clove splits and all that papery stuff on the outside comes right off. You can just slip that off. That's how I did those. And then you can just chop this. So nice. And then I can just do this. And actually when you flatten it like that, it kind of makes it easier to chop because it's not rolling around underneath your knife. Now, my eyes are already watering, but we're okay because we're gonna get everything into a pot right now. So, I've got this gigantic cast iron, enameled. This thing is huge, but it's great because for years I was using this little pot, which I still have, but by the time I was done, it was literally to the top, and every single time it would start boiling and splashing, and it was just very irritating. So using this big pot is helpful because you can fry everything, all your veggies in here, you can put the sausage, which I'm going to be using, local only, and frying that in, and then, you know, everything is kind of down low into this pot. I mean, you can see the ring of where everything's cooked, so you have a couple inches of space to kind of have spatter and splatter. Let's start with some heat. Olive oil, nice layer of that. Because once I put the veggies in, the onion, the celery, the garlic, normally I would actually put a chopped carrot into here also, like finely chopped. I don't have any carrots here, so I'm gonna do some of my cured olives. That'll be really nice. I'm only gonna do like 4. No, how about 3? I don't want too many because they're super salty. I mean, they're cured and salt dried basically, so you can't really just eat these. They have to be put into a recipe. Just take the pit out and then chop them pretty finely, but they kind of disintegrate into the food. I mean, they're a really good source of like that umami richness. They smell so good. They're so earthy. Pan is getting warm. Let's throw these veggies in. I call them veggies, but it's like basically, you know, my sofrito base. I want a couple of these dried mushrooms. I buy these fresh from like the Asian market in town. But what's great is that you just put them in the fridge and they kind of dry out, but then they just sort of like sustain. They look almost fresh when they're dried out. So they're kind of great because then you could just break them apart, chop them, or do whatever. They're amazing on pizza because normally when you buy mushrooms, they're very wet, and when you do them on pizza, they kind of like release water and they just make your pizza wet. But when they dry like this, they're perfect for that. I'm gonna take, most people are revolted by this, but I promise you it's an amazing ingredient for sauce, which is anchovies. Now you have to buy them in tins. Do not buy, well, you could buy the ones in a glass jar, but don't buy the cheap-ish ones. Get ones that are a little bit pricier because they're worth it. These are packed in olive oil, and they're very flavorful. I want, I don't know, maybe 3 of them. I think it comes like 12 in a can, and I've used half this can already. So I'm just gonna chop those. And chopping is good because, you know, it'll help distribute, but honestly, these basically disappear into the food. You won't even know they're in there. They're just like that other flavor that's in there that nobody, you can't identify it. That's what's so great about it, because people who are like, I don't eat fish, I hate the taste of fish, it's too fishy. These don't do that. They're just more of a salty, like saline and like layered umami. Very, very good for this kind of sauce. Oh, it smells so good. I'm so excited about this. Now, I'm gonna let this cook down for, I mean, this could be 10 to 15 minutes, because I want, this is up too high actually. I want this to kind of get nice and soft, but I need to salt it slightly, because salt will actually help extract water from the veggies so they won't burn. Okay, so this, and also, believe it or not, I'm going to put some butter, probably 2 to 3 tablespoons, along with that olive oil that I put in. So this is going to cook down for a few minutes, and then I'm going to add my sausage. Some people decide that the sausage goes first, then the veggies, and I mean, as long as the food is cooked properly and it's delicious in the end, right? So let's just let this simmer for a bit on medium-low, and I'm gonna get the sausage ready. All right, so I buy local sausages from this company that it's just excellent product, and it's so flavorful, and it has very few ingredients. I mean, it's literally 1, 2, 3, 4 ingredients. Totally my jam. So we're gonna take these out. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna cut the casing off, peel that off. I know, I'm sorry. I don't like sausages normally when it's like this, but when you break it down and put it into a sauce, it is absolutely meal changing. So I'm just gonna do this.
Cheaper per pound.
I'm gonna cut this. All right, so peel these. Yuck, I know. But necessary evil for what's about to come, which is amazing food. Cut this. So it's Saturday night. This is what I do on Saturday nights. I make videos about cooking food for Sunday. Oh my gosh. All right, well, so I've got those sausages. They look great. So what I can do now is I'm gonna push my veggies to the edge of my pan. And I'm gonna put the sausages in here to cook in the middle. And as those sausages sort of like break down and render fat, they're going to go into the flavor of it, really, and the fat is going to go into the veggies, cook those more. It's just like a whole melodic, just like orchestra of great stuff going on right now. So I break this up a little bit as I go. I don't want to just throw the sausages in, because then I have to break them down in the pan, and I'd rather do that kind of like ahead of time. I like almost like little chunks of it to be in the sauce. So when I do this, I don't want to break it down like sometimes when you do ground beef for like a taco. You break it down so tiny, and then in the end you're like, it's like meal. it's like mealy. So what I want is pieces of meat in this sauce that I can. It's like heartiness, and it like sits on top of your, pasta, and it just looks so good. Oh, can't wait! It's gonna be so nice. So that's 2 sausages, and then third. Whoa, I'm getting crazy up in here. This is gonna be really tasty. It smells really nice. The sausage has like enough flavor in it that gives you like that meaty, like authentic Italian flavor. But then at the same time, you have these really nice veggies giving you body and chew and just layers of flavor, like the garlic. And I just think it's going to be a nice sauce. Speaking of sauce, we're going to have to open our cans of... I don't do my own tomatoes. Sorry. But I did buy myself a new can opener for Christmas because my other one was like 25 years old and it was driving me crazy because it couldn't work. It wasn't working. So now I have one that works really nice. I'm very excited about this. So I like Tuttoroso, the brand, and I love the pastini. Whatever canned stuff you like, but stick with the rule that the less ingredients in the can, the better the food, okay? So, hello. All right, 1 can of tomato paste, and then I have a can of, what they're calling ground peeled tomatoes, and then a can of crushed tomatoes, which, I mean, honestly, it's exactly the same thing. I think I bought these 2 different days, so that's why they're different brands. And maybe they were on sale each time. So, we good. All the veggies are cooking down really nice and soft. And the sausages, you can see a tiny bit of pink in there. And I definitely want to cook this down to the point where the pink is gone, because that will just render more fat. And then when you bite into it, it won't be as chewy. But the fat will go into the flavor of the actual sauce itself, which definitely something we want because it is absolutely delicious. So if you look, you can see that I haven't broken down the sausage too much. I mean, you still get a nice, like, it's a bite. It's not that ground beef, mealiness. This one actually is probably too big. Broke that one in half. So just for a little extra flavor, I like to add like a tablespoon of this, which is called Better Than Bouillon. It's roasted beef flavor. This stuff is great. It's so concentrated. It's basically like a paste. But this stuff is a little bit salty, so be aware of that. But it basically is like 1 teaspoon per cup of water is kind of how they tell you to make it. So for this huge thing of sauce, I'm actually going to just put like a full tablespoon in there. I think that'll be enough. Pour that in so I'm not wasting. I'm not a big fan of wasting food. People here will tell you that. People here at this location.
Current.
At the current location, right. So that's going to be perfect. I'm still letting this cook down a bit because I want that sausage fat to kind of render down better and cook all the way through. But needs to be on low. Do not cook this on high because you'll just get sear and then you'll start to burn like pieces of the sausage and nobody wants that. Alright, so I'm going to test this sausage, see if it's ready. Just take a little piece out of the pot. It's really nice. Can of tomato paste. So here's the trick with this. Put the whole can of tomato paste into this with the sausage and the veggies. Cook the paste with the meat and everything for like 5 minutes. And what that does is it kind of adds another flavor into the sauce without having to do literally anything else. Before you put the sauces in and the tomato sauce. So I'm going to actually stir this paste right into the sausage. So I'm going to coat this. It just gives another dimension of flavor that you wouldn't have if you're just doing, you know, paste, sauce, pour, mix, cook more. It's like this paste cooking on its own like elevates the flavor one more time. And I've had many, many iterations of this sauce. I've been cooking it for many, many years, so it started out as basic sauce. But as the years go by, you learn things, you see things, you taste things, you hear things. It's like, what's in the fridge, first of all? What do I have in my pantry? Do I have fish sauce? Do I have, you know, whatever I'm adding? I love being a little bit on the fly. So once this is cooked in, I'm going to that beef stock and pour that in. Some red wine, like half a cup. A drop of balsamic vinegar. Because I'm actually, I know everybody's gonna whine about this, but I am gonna actually add a little bit of sugar to this whole sauce because you have to temper that acidity of the tomato. It's just too much. So at this point, basically, add your sauces, let it simmer for probably 15 minutes. I'm gonna do that, and then I'm gonna add milk, let it simmer for another 10, let it cool completely, and then put it away. Tomorrow when I take it out, I'm gonna add a couple spices, I'll taste it, see what it needs. It's gonna be amazing. Thyme, smoked paprika, like some basil, and oregano. And then a simmer for 20 to 30 minutes on very low. Can't wait. So hearty, full of goodies, full of flavor, so rich. It's gonna be great. All right, see you next time.